Hey, Jessica, do you have a minute? I just heard something that was really hard to believe and wanted to confirm it with you. Is it true that you dropped out of high school? Huh? I know, I'm sorry, this is really sudden, but I just heard from Carl and it's kind of making me lose my mind. Okay, so Carl proposed to me and I said yes. And after I said yes, we got to talking about some stuff. And then all of a sudden he tells me there's something serious he needs to tell me. And that was when he told me that you were a high school dropout. Is that true? Yeah, it's just like Carl said. I dropped out partway through high school. But I don't know what he was being so dramatic about. Something like that is nothing worth bringing up right after proposing. I wonder why he thought it was so serious that he had to tell you that. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal? Not a big deal? It's a huge deal, Jessica. Are you out of your mind? No. Oh my God, I cannot believe you were a high school dropout. I didn't think that's the type of person you were. I feel like I'm gonna puke. All this time, I was treating you so nicely. I wanted to get along with you because, I was super serious about Carl and everything, and you're his sister. And now I find out you're a high school dropout? I feel so deceived. I don't really think deceived is a fair word to use in this situation, but you have to understand, Jessica, I'm an Ivy League graduate, and it's not just me either. Carl's an Ivy League graduate too. We're a high-powered elite couple. We can't be seen associating with the likes of you. I'm not really a fan of the tone you're taking with me right now. Tell me, Kylie, when Carl told you I dropped out of high school, did he tell you why I did? Oh, yeah, he told me all about it. You got, super sick with some disease in your freshman year. You were in and out of the hospital for the next 2 years, and you missed so many of your classes that you weren't able to keep up, so you dropped out. Ah, okay, so he did tell you then. Yeah, that's right. I had to go stay in the hospital pretty regularly, sometimes for a month or two at a time. By the time everything settled down, I went back to school, and all of my friends had kind of moved on without me. I felt so alone. So I figured, screw it. I dropped out and decided to just get a job and start working. I don't see what that sob story has to do with anything, though. I'm sorry you got sick, but being unlucky isn't an excuse. You're still a high school dropout, and nothing can ever change that. Even if you went back and got your GED, you would still be a permanent member of the high school dropout class. Nothing can wash away that stain, Jessica. Really? Again, I really don't appreciate the way you're talking about me. Stain? Oh, good grief. This is one of the most humiliating days of my life. I was starting to really enjoy spending time with you. I was even looking forward to being sisters once Carl and I got married. We could go to the mall together, get our nails done together, maybe even do live streams together on Instagram. But you're a high school dropout. Yuck. Can I ask you something, Kylie? What is so bad about dropping out of high school anyway? Honestly, your educational history only really matters for the first careerish job you get. No one cares after that. As long as you work hard and get results, it doesn't matter where you got your degree from or what degree it even is. It doesn't matter? I don't believe what I'm hearing. It obviously matters a lot. I'm not going to waste my time explaining it to you, though. You're just a high school dropout. You wouldn't understand it. Wow. Suffice to say, educational attainment is everything these days. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know what the word suffice means? Look it up if you don't. Anyway, Carl and I are the only Ivy League graduates in the companies that we work for, and they treat us like absolute royalty. Carl got promoted to the managerial class years ahead of people who had been in the company longer than him. And my company basically organizes their project schedule around me being able to take part in as many of them as possible. Oh boy, how amazing. I am truly impressed. It's okay, Jessica. You don't have to pretend you get it. I mean, how could you get it? You're a high school dropout. I'll bet you didn't even understand half the words I used just now. Man, I feel so sorry for you. With your inferior intellect, you'll never earn anywhere near as much as Carl and I. You're going to be stuck doing menial labor for the rest of your life. That way of thinking only spread through the basis of high school guidance counselors and hasn't ever been true in the real world. There are all sorts of possibilities for people of all educational attainment levels, even high school dropouts. And let's not forget that some of the wealthiest people in the world today either didn't go to college or dropped out. So no, lower educational attainment is neither a barrier in terms of job opportunity or income potential, provided a person has sufficient skills and knowledge. Shut up. I'm not reading all that copy and pasted BS, and I'm not interested in talking to someone who lacks the language ability to converse on my level. All that I wanted to tell you today was that I can no longer associate with you. The end. So never, ever try and contact me ever again. Got it? Kylie, are you serious about this? This is making me really sad. We've gotten along so well up until now. That was because you were lying to me about what you really were. I will not ruin my image by hanging out with someone as uneducated as yourself. From this day forth, I am obligated to hate your guts.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. Do you have any idea how much trouble you're causing me right now? Having a loser high school dropout like you for a sister sucks so much. Kylie and I just got in a huge fight and it's all your fault.
My fault?
I knew I shouldn't have told her that you were a high school dropout. Kylie graduated from an Ivy League university just like me, so we're both at the top of the intellectual ladder. I've been holding back on telling her the truth about you up until now because I was sure that she was going to get really mad when she found out. But I mean, we're going to get married, so it's not like I can hide it forever. I tried to do the right thing and be honest with her, so I invited her out to dinner and broke the news, and she started freaking out at me. Everything was going great between us. We were engaged, in love, planning our wedding, but then you had to come along and put a wedge in between us.
I will not sit here and let you act like I'm the one at fault for whatever is going on between you two. If you thought it was so serious, then you should have told her about it before you proposed. That's on you, not me.
Are you kidding? You think I was going to tell her about you before proposing? If she had known what you were before I proposed, she would have said no for sure. My God, don't you understand anything?
I understand more than enough to see that both you and Kylie are completely out of line. What is with you two? Why do you treat high school dropouts like we're a leper colony? Having a slip of paper saying you're super duper smart doesn't mean anything. What matters is whether you can do the job or not. That's all.
Your low IQ is preventing you from understanding how the world works, so let me spell it out for you. You are a high school dropout. High school dropouts are dumb. The world doesn't need dumb people. Therefore, the world has no need for low IQ, lazy, useless high school dropouts like you.
Really, Carl? Really? I can't believe you talked to me like that. I'm your sister. You know how hard it was for me back then? You remember all the doctor visits, hospital stays, therapies, injections, and all the other stuff I went through. You have got no right to speak so cruelly to me, Carl.
I have all the right in the world to say whatever I damn well please to you, Jessica. Here's a new word for you to learn. Meritocracy. That means the people who have merit, like me, make all the rules. And the people who don't have merit, like you, will live how we allow you to. Why did I have to get stuck with a loser like you for a sister? All you are is one big fat burden on all the hard-working, intelligent people around you.
How am I a burden on anyone? I might have dropped out of high school, but I work hard, make money, and pay my taxes.
Here's another little tidbit for you, Jessica. Most people in this country take more money from the government than they pay in taxes. People like you can only live because there are Ivy League graduates like me and Kylie making enough to pay for the burden you place on the system. I managed to salvage my relationship with Kylie somehow, but I'm completely through with you. I don't want you to ever come around me or Kylie ever again. You know what? I think I'll...
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm just fine with never speaking to you again. I will never forget the way Kylie changed her attitude about me just because she found out I was a high school dropout. I would never want to associate with such a lying, backstabbing, two-faced elitist like her anyway. And the same goes for you.
I think I'll go ahead and give our parents a report about you. I'll need their help to make sure you don't try and mess with Kylie. You low IQ types are more prone to violence, so I might just have to get a restraining order against you. And don't you dare tell anyone else we're related or I'll sue you for slander.
Hey there, Kylie. I tried to message Carl about this first, but he never returned any of my calls or texts. I know we both agreed not to contact each other anymore, but I decided this was an emergency, so I have no choice. I'm standing in the family section of the wedding chapel right now, and there isn't a seat here for me. I'm guessing that was probably a mistake by the venue staff. Could you contact them for me? Oh, that's no mistake. I told them not to put out a seat for you. You're not welcome at our wedding. Now get out of here. What? I don't understand. You had my seat removed on purpose? I was debating on what to do about you for a while, but in the end, I decided that I just didn't want any high school dropouts at my wedding. This is an elite wedding, Jessica. We're both Ivy League graduates. We're part of the overclass that runs the world. So we can't have a low-class dreg like you hanging around and ruining the atmosphere. I don't believe this. You actually went out of your way to have my seat removed? This is our wedding, Jessica, and what we say goes. And we say, you go. Now, do get out of here as soon as possible. You're blocking the view of the other guests by standing there. You're a real piece of work, Kylie. I know people are free to like who they like and dislike who they dislike, but this is far beyond a matter of likes and dislikes. This is you infringing on my basic human dignity. Is that what all of you so-called elite Ivy League graduates are like? Shut up, cretin. We are not so-called elite. We are bona fide elites. Look, this is for your own good anyway. You're just plain out of place here. Most of the people coming today are our college classmates. They're all Ivy League graduates, too. Plus, a lot of the higher-ups at our companies are coming, too. A pathetic little peasant like yourself would be just sad looking around at all the intelligent people with interesting and demanding jobs. You should be thanking me for kicking you out before you go and make a fool of yourself. This is unbelievable. What's unbelievable is the fact that you're still here when I've already told you to leave multiple times. This wedding is for elites only. There are no seats for low IQ, underclass peasantry like you. I see. Goodbye, then. Good riddance. And for real this time, never ever come anywhere near us ever again. Gotcha. Have it your way. Once I go and tell your boss that I'm declining his request, I'll be on my way. Huh? He came up and talked to me a little while ago in the lobby. Looks like he's heard about me. He asked me to take on a certain job for him, but if I do, that means I'll have to go to your office pretty often. And since you're telling me you don't want me anywhere near you, then I won't be able to do it. Your boss is going to be absolutely heartbroken when I break the news to him. He was really excited about having the opportunity to work with me. I feel really bad things turned out this way, but what can you do? Hold on. What are you talking about, Jessica? Why would my boss know who you are? You don't even live in the same universe as us, and what job could he possibly want a miserable little high school dropout like you to do? Does he want you to clean the office toilets or something? He can find someone who actually graduated high school to do that. Sorry, but I'm not in the toilet cleaning business. I am, however, in the graphic design business, and your boss asked me to design the logo for your company's new product. I guess your company's putting a lot into this new product, and your boss is the lead of the product planning division. I guess he thought having the #1 logo designer in the country make the logo for him would create some buzz around the product. You're a graphic designer? You know, now that you mention it, I don't believe we've ever talked much about what I do for a living. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I was working in a design firm up until a few years ago, but I went independent. My reputation followed me, though, and I've built quite the client list up for myself. That's impossible. How can you go into business for yourself if you couldn't even graduate from high school? I don't think those two skill sets are related at all, honestly. In the real world, all that matters is results, and my results are world class. Results? What results? You didn't even stick around in school to get the results from your SATs. I've taken on logo design products for about a third of the companies on the Fortune 500 list. It's to the point where I have multiple billion-dollar enterprises bidding each other up to buy my time. I'm fully booked for the next 6 months at least, and I'm in talks with another company to pick up a new project right after that. That's actually kind of impressive. I'm surprised you didn't know about my work. Your boss seems to be quite familiar with me. He said he's been meaning to have his people contact my people about the logo design sometime soon. What a crazy coincidence, huh? He just about did a backflip when I told him I could get the logo design finished within the year. He did? I was kind of looking forward to it myself. I haven't done much work in your company's industry before. Seems like an interesting opportunity for me to expand my reach. It's gonna suck having to tell him I can't do it after all. Considering the circumstances, he's probably gonna ask me about why I'm doing such a rapid turnaround. So I'll just tell him the truth. I can't work for your company because you don't want me to come anywhere near you ever again. I'm sure he'll understand. Wait, don't do that! Why would you bring that up with my boss? It has nothing to do with him. Sure it does. That's the only reason I have to turn down the job he offered me. And it's the truth anyway. There's nothing wrong with telling the truth. Look, just give me a second, okay? Jeez, I had no idea that you were doing that kind of work. How about we put our little feud on hold for a few minutes? Just enough for you to finish the logo. No thanks. I want to get the two of you out of my life as soon as possible. Oh no. I hope you enjoy your wedding, Jessica. Don't worry, I'll leave like you wanted me to just as soon as I get done talking to your boss.
Jessica, we need to talk. Is it true that you make more than me?
Ugh, just when I thought I could finally kick back and relax.
Mom and Dad just told me that. When they heard that we kicked you out of the wedding, they got super mad at us. I managed to get them to calm down until after the wedding, but right after all the guests left, they started absolutely tearing into me. They were all like, "How dare you treat your sister like that when she's far more elite than you'll ever be?" And they started talking about what your job was and told me you make twice as much as me.
One minor point of contention, it's not a job because I'm the boss of my own company. But yeah, being my own boss means I'm free to make as much or as little as I want. And last year was a really good year for me. I think after taxes, I'll end up taking home about $200,000. You'll have to ask Mom and Dad for the specific number, though. They're the ones who I hired to do all my accounting.
This is insane! How could someone like you make that much? Especially someone working freelance! How do you make $200,000 working for yourself?
I told you before, Carl. In my industry, the only thing that matters is results, not educational attainment. Still, though, there are some midwits like yourself out there who think that having a degree from a prestigious university means everything. But all that meant to me was that I'd have to work even harder to prove myself, and I did.
Self! Even still, there's no way you should be making $200,000. You can't make more than me.
I know it must be hard on you, being out-earned by your high school dropout sister. Seriously, what gives me the right to prove myself in the world without relying on empty credentialism? Don't worry, though, I won't be around to humiliate you much longer. I'm never going to contact you again, just like you wanted.
Me? No, you don't need to do that. Actually, I've been thinking that I want to try and rebuild our sibling relationship.
Huh?
Since our wedding is finished and we're married now, the next thing me and Kylie need to think about is having kids. Both of us are high-powered elites with superior DNA, so all our kids are bound to be super intelligent. That's where you come in. If you taught your graphic design skills to our superhuman children, they'd be the best graphic designers in history.
Huh?
If an imbecile like you can pull $200,000 as a graphic designer, think about what my kids are going to be able to do. They'll be making $1 million a year before they're out of elementary school.
First of all, $1 million a year is, for all intents and purposes, impossible in this industry for an individual. Second of all, no. Literally no. I refuse. I've already decided that I never want to speak to you or Kylie ever again.
But why?
Isn't it obvious? You were the ones who started telling me to stay out of your lives in the first place, remember? Oh, and by the way, I have a message to you guys from our parents. They wanted me to tell you that they're writing you out of their will and that you're never allowed to come to their house again.
What? They can't do that to us. I'm their son. I'm an elite Ivy League graduate working for a powerful company, and my wife is just as elite as me. How could they even consider cutting off such an elite power couple?
Oh, they gave me an answer for that, too. They said that all the degrees and credentials in the world don't make up for an awful personality. Okay, well, my job is done here. Don't ever contact me or our parents again. Jessica, I'm begging you. Please do the logo design my boss wanted you to do. If you don't, then my career is practically dead in the water. Is that so? I can't believe you actually turned down the job my boss offered you. I thought you were just trying to scare me. You really did tell him about everything I said to you. He got super mad at me for all of that. He told me I was a disgrace to the Ivy League. I've never had anyone get that mad at me before. Now that you mention it, you did say something about your company treating you like royalty. Wow, you must have really messed up if he got that mad at you. About that, I guess my company didn't value me quite as much as I thought they did. What do you mean? Well, while my boss was reaming me out the other day, he said that he was finally going to give me the lecture he's been holding back on for all this time. I guess the reason that they had put me on so many different projects was damage control. They figured if I was spread super thin between a bunch of projects, I wouldn't be able to do that much damage to any single one. Yikes. He said he would rather have a high school dropout on his team than an Ivy League graduate like me. Now I'm in charge of finding a new designer, and if the new product fails, they're going to fire me. Well, you're in quite the pickle, aren't you? And then there's my colleagues. They all saw how mad my boss was at me, but no one will help me at all. They're all afraid if they're seen working with me, they might get some blame for my mistakes. And this one guy said to me, "You're always bragging about your elite education, Miss Ivy League. Figure it out for yourself." My, oh my, Kylie. Looks like you've been hard at work earning the ire of your coworkers. Let me guess, you've been using your Ivy League credentials as an excuse to be a jerk to people who went to ordinary universities, right? Well, yeah, but what's wrong with that? I went to an elite university. I am obviously more elite than someone who went to some average public university. There is a lot I'd like to say to you, but I don't think it'll do any good. Please, Jessica, will you please do the logo design for us? If you agree to take the job, my boss will forgive me for sure. I'll get my career back on track, and you'll get a high-paying job from a major company. I'll pass. It's like I told Carl, I'm done with you two. You told me you don't want to speak to me anymore, so I'll oblige you. I told you, we can put that silly little feud on hold for a few months. I'll stop bashing you for being a high school dropout. Maybe I'll even let you tell people you're my sister-in-law. So please, you've got to help me out. Nah, I don't feel like it. Please. You're finally getting a taste of your just desserts. Jessica, I am begging you. And with that, I am very busy, so I'm going to get back to work. I'm sure you can solve any of your problems all by yourself, Kylie. After all, you're an elite Ivy League graduate. Kylie was never able to find another designer to take the job. Her boss had finally had enough of her failures, so he had her transferred to a smaller branch on the outskirts of town. In what can only be described as cosmic irony, her new manager is a high school dropout and 5 years younger than her. He's an incredibly talented businessman, but he's rather strict with his subordinates. I guess within a week of her getting transferred, he told her, "I would rather have a middle school dropout on my team than you." So she's having a pretty hard time of things right now. As for my brother, he was really hit hard by my parents cutting off contact with him. It was so hard on him that he actually wasn't able to get out of bed for about 10 days straight. He used up all his paid time off, and his company told him that if he didn't come back to work immediately, they were going to replace him. I have an old colleague who works at the same company, and I talked to her about how things were going with Carl the other day. Apparently, they're already interviewing some people for his position. And the top candidate is, drumroll please, a high school dropout.